Want to be a topper in MBA entrance exams? Join BYJU'S Exam Prep, CAT and MBA YouTube channel and watch serial 99 percentilers teaching you the tips and tricks.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon all of you. Very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to this session for CAT 2002 preparation guide for the working professionals. So of course by the name itself you would have understood that what are we going to discuss in this class. But before I start, let me just confirm it from you that is everything fine? Am I clearly audible and visible to each one of you? All of you can hear me, all of you can see me. Is all okay? If you guys can just confirm it to me once, is everything fine? After that, we'll start with our class today. Okay. So to give you a little bit of idea about this session, so what are we going to talk about today? We'll be just talking about those people who are preparing for CAT 2022 but are working somewhere, and normally we have a problem. I mean, in making a schedule, we have a lot of questions. Sir, how do we make a schedule? How do we optimize our time for preparation? Should we write some mock test or sectional test? Which areas can we leave? Which areas are more important for us? So there can be hundreds of questions like these. So that's all that we are going to discuss today in our class. So I would start very soon. Let me just confirm it from all of you. Is everything fine? Am I audible? Am I visible? Is everything okay? Can you all hear me? Can you all see me? If you can write that in the chat box, that will be better. I would be able to understand that fast. Okay, and then we will start with our today's class. So the purpose would be simple, that I'll be just discussing a kind of schedule, you can say, that we can have for this CAT 2022 for the working professionals. How much time is needed, how should we distribute that time, in what topics, what exactly should be our destination or target, you can say, and accordingly we have made these things. Okay. So good afternoon Sanjeev Kumar, good afternoon Vijay, good afternoon to everyone else who is able to hear me and see me here. Good afternoon Pradyumn. So let's start with our class now. Without wasting any further time, I think we can start with it. So the first thing here is that how many days are left for CAT. Though of course the CAT notification is not yet out. It will be generally out in the end of July or in the first week of August, mostly in the end of July. But we all know that CAT is always conducted on the last Sunday of November. And this year, the last Sunday of November would be on 27th of November. So basically, the exam is going to be there exactly on 27th of November. So on the basis of that, probably I can say that what is going to happen in these coming days, उसके बारे में तो हम बोल ही सकते हैं, that because the exam is going to be on 27th of November and today is exactly 27th of May. So can't I say that exactly 6 months are left from today? So June, July, August, September, October, November. So we are exactly 6 months away from today. This is that we have in our hand now. I am good, Pradyumn. I'm good. Thank you very much. Okay. So what is to be done in these exact 6 months now? What should be our strategy? Are 6 months enough? So I would say yes, they are enough for a person who is at an average preparation level right now. Because of course the answer would be different from each and everyone. If there is a person who says, sir, I have left studying for any of these examinations many years back, I'm into a job for last 7-8 years, I have not even touched mathematics, and I did my, let us say, BA or BCom where mathematics was not there, probably for those kids I might say that 6 months might be a bit less, right? But if you have done an average level of preparation, or you have prepared for these things before and now you have started preparing for CAT, in all these scenarios I would say yes, the time is sufficient for you. So even if you start from today, you can do it. How much time is needed? 6 months is the time that we are left with. Now we have to study a little bit on all of these days. The problem with the working professionals is टाइम नहीं मिलता सर ज़्यादा, ठीक है. वी आर इन अ जॉब, तो वहाँ पे हम लोगों को टाइम नहीं मिलता है. हाउ डू वी मैनेज द टाइम विद आवर प्रिपरेशन? आई मीन वो तो हो ही नहीं पाता है. दैट्स अ डिफिकल्ट टास्क. ओके, आई एम अज्यूमिंग दैट ऑल ऑफ यू who are working at some place would be having your offs on Saturdays and Sundays, because nowadays that's a very common phenomenon. Though there are possibilities, there are some people who have only Sundays off. There might be some people who won't be having even Sundays off. I mean, we know that there are some organizations which take so much work from their employees कि कई बार उनको Sunday भी off नहीं मिलता है. I mean, Sunday से यहाँ मेरा मतलब है one day in a week. Sometimes it is Monday off for some people because of the nature of their job. कभी Wednesday off होता है, किसी का Thursday off होता है. But sometimes that is a possibility you don't get an off. So there can be various challenges for you. But the point is that why are you preparing for CAT? Why do you want to do MBA? Probably because of these challenges that you are facing in the job currently. शायद इसीलिए आपने डिसाइड किया होगा, आई एम गोइंग टू डू एमबीए सो दैट आई कैन रीच अ प्लेस और अ पोजीशन where probably these things would not bother me. So at a junior level or at an executive level, we always face these problems, that the work culture somehow does not satisfy with our expectations, and we don't have any work off. The timings are, I mean, too hectic. The nature of the job sometimes is very irritable. So there can be many of the things because of which you have thought of doing this. But yes, if you have decided to write CAT, I would say just assume that the next 6 months are going to be completely dedicated to CAT. It is an investment you are making. If someone tells me today that for 1 year you have to, let's say, put in 50,000 rupees every month in a scheme, or 5 lakh rupees in a scheme, or 10 lakh rupees in a scheme, so that would depend upon my salary as well, of course. How much am I earning? So can I put that much into account? If my salary is 40,000, of course I cannot put in 50,000 every month. If my salary is 10 lakhs, probably I can easily put 3-4 lakhs every month. So both the things are there. But yes, I would try to stretch maximum possible to make that investment. If someone promises me that if you do it for 1 year, we give you a promise that all your life after your retirement, we are going to pay you a pension of 1 lakh rupees every month. So shouldn't I be doing that? Of course, I would do that in that case. I would feel that, okay, it is just for a year or two that I have to stretch a lot. I have to put my finances, I mean, on the brink. So wahan pe I have to put a lot of hard work probably because of this. I'll have to cut down on my household expenses. But I am making this investment to have a good future, a secure future. Probably CAT is also like that. 6 महीने की आपकी मेहनत होती है. In these 6 months, if you do a lot of hard work, I would say, okay, make your life hell for these 6 months. Do not have any social life. Just start studying a lot. बहुत कुछ, बहुत सारी मेहनत कर लीजिए. Keeping that in mind that these 6 months are going to define your next 60 years of life. So how are you going to live in your life? That will be defined by these 6 months. So I would say that anyone who would be getting this kind of return from an investment of just 6 months, he would do anything to do that, to get that. So that is my basic assumption, that you all would be going with that. So just do it, spend these 6 months on it, and I'm pretty sure you would land up in a college where you can do an MBA from such a good college that it would never be a botheration for you whether I would get a job or not. कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं जॉब से निकाल देंगे, वो इनसिक्योरिटी तो नहीं होगी. What if my salary is reduced? What if this happens or that happens? These kind of insecurities would not be there at all. And I, being a married guy, having a family, running a household, I know that what is the value of that security that you have. So just go ahead with it, and I'm sure this is going to help you in your life as well. So let's move on, guys. इससे आगे बढ़ते हैं. First of all, let's have a look at our target. Target क्या है हम लोगों का? I'm sure all of you know that if you want to go into an IIM, let's say A, B, C, so what is the percentile that you would be looking at? Of course, that will be different for different people. According to your work experience, the stream of your graduation, your 10th and 12th scores, any extracurricular things. So ये बहुत सारी चीजों पे डिपेंड करता है that finally आपका किस percentile पे कहाँ से कॉल आने वाला है. Good afternoon, Suleiman Ali. So ऐसे में what exactly is my target that I should be aiming at? Of course, everyone should be targeting 100 percentile, but not everyone can get that, right? So let's have a realistic target. A target which can take me to a point which I am looking for. ठीक है? So मेरा जो destination है, मेरा destination है to land up into a good B school from where I get guaranteed placement with an average package of at least 14-15 lakhs. Probably that will give me that thing. Though, of course, again that will be different from person to person. A person who is already at a package of 10 lakhs or 12 lakhs, वो तो 14-15 का पैकेज नहीं देख रहा होगा. So that guy would be looking at IMA, IMBC, FMS, XLRE kind of college, जहाँ से average package would be 24-25 lakhs. So for that person, of course, the target would be different. Of course, the target percentile would also be different. It has to be higher. But for other people who are not looking that high, we are having a very रियलिस्टिक प्रोबेबली ड्रीम्स विद अस. ठीक है, तो मैं ये नहीं चाहता कि मैं यहाँ बोलूं हर आदमी को 99 परसेंटाइल एम करना चाहिए. प्रोबेबली नॉट एवरीवन कैन डू दैट. नॉट एवरीवन इज मेड फॉर कैट. नॉट एवरीवन इज दैट गुड इन क्वांट, LRDI, etc. So we might have some other strengths, but somehow those are not a part of CAT. So looking at CAT, probably according to my strength, I am looking for a percentile like 97, 98 or 95. So according to that, I can check that this is my target. If you look at all these figures, I want to take your attention to a few points. That is, let us say take a realistic figure of 95 percentile for an average kid who is currently having 70, 75, 80 percentile, और वो 95 percentile चाह रहा है कि पहला target तो मेरा ये है. The day I would reach this point, that day then I will start thinking of 99. Till that time, I would be looking at 95. It might be slightly below that as well, but this is the overall score versus percentile. So if I talk about CAT 2021 and 2020, what is my opinion? In my opinion, this year's CAT is going to be more close to these two patterns rather than these two patterns, because 2021 and 2020, because of COVID, had a changed pattern. The exam was of 2 hours rather than 3 hours. So that happened in 2021. Now COVID is almost towards extinction. So in this stage, probably we can assume that this year CAT is going to be again a 3 hours affair. तो जैसा 1918 में हुआ था, 17 में हुआ था, 16 में हुआ था, शायद exactly उसी तरह का एग्जाम इस साल भी होने वाला है. Good afternoon, Sujit. Okay, so that's my opinion, and I'm almost sure that this is going to be there very soon. The notification would be out. We'll be having it with us. So there also probably you can see that. So for the more realistic picture for us would be given by CAT 2019 and 18. If I look at those, the exam was of 3 hours, right? And there were 34, 33, 34, that is 101 questions. No, 34, मैं भूल भी गया, 100 questions. 34, 32 and 34. So 100 questions were there. Out of those 100 questions, if I am looking for a 95 percentile, 120 पे मेरा 95 percentile आ रहा था in 2019 out of 300. 120 का मतलब है 40 questions, whereas this year it was approximately 42, right? 40 and 42. But you will see a staggering change here. ध्यान से देखिएगा, मैं आपको एक खास चीज दिखाता हूँ. They are exactly the same for 99.5. For 99 percentile, rather this is slightly higher. 157 जो था, 157 means approximately 52, 53 questions. 155 means approximately 51, 52 questions, right? But just have a look at 90 percentile. A 90 percentile was there at 30 questions here, whereas here it was somewhere around 37 questions. There is a gap of 7 questions at a 90 percentile. Why did that happen? Probably in 2018, the paper had more easier questions and more difficult questions as well, but very less number of average questions. देखिए हुआ ये कि नीचे जो 90 परसेंटाइल तक है, इजी क्वेश्चंस बहुत सारे थे, तो बहुत सारे लोग 90 परसेंटाइल तक पहुंच पाए, so they had a good score. But after that they were not able to do much. So the gap between these two scores for a 5 percentile is 15, whereas the same gap here is 30. This much of change is generally not there. अगर आप यहाँ पे देखेंगे, this gap between them is 12, और यहाँ पे देखेंगे तो gap 14 है. So normally they are equal, but a gap of 15 and 30, it is telling you that in 2018 the question had a lot many easy questions, not in 2019. So if I'm looking at a 95 percentile, probably I would say my target would be somewhere around 40-42 questions in a total of 3 hours. 3 घंटे में 100 questions में से क्या मैं 40-42 नहीं कर सकता? Which means 14-15 questions on an average from each section, though it is not necessary that you have to do 14-15 from each questions. I'll show it to you. अब ये मत सोचिएगा that you will have to do 14 questions in each of them to get a 95 percentile. No. section wise 95 percentile would be at a very low number of questions rather than at 14-15. आप देखिएगा, अभी मैं आपको शो करूंगा. But if my target is 95 percentile, I'm looking for a 40-42 questions. If my target is 99 percentile, I'm looking for a 51-52 questions. If my target is 99.5, I'm looking at somewhere around 57-58 questions. So these targets should be first of all in our mind that, okay, I have to reach this stage to have this percentile. Just to give you a figure, none of the IIMs has a sectional cutoff of more than 90 percentile. So if you score 90 percentile in all the three sections, you are safely above the sectional cutoffs of each and every college. सभी colleges, किसी का भी 90 percentile से ऊपर का cutoff नहीं होता. You don't have to worry about it. So I take a question from Sujit. Sujit कुछ कह रहे हैं. How can I improve my quant section because my maths is average? Sujit, we will talk about it. I'll be talking about section wise things as well. I think you can ask your question once again over there. Okay, when I talk about verbal ability, as I just told you that if you look at the percentiles in verbal ability 2019-18 में 50 questions पे 95 percentile था, that means around 17, whereas this was around 21 questions, right? 21 questions. So probably in 2018 the verbal section was pretty easy, but in 2019 it was slightly on the difficult sides, therefore they were on 17 and 21. I'm not talking about 21-20 as I told you in the beginning, that I'm assuming the exam is going to be more close to 19-18. Similarly, a 90 percentile was there at 14 questions here, a 53 was there at around 18 questions, because the exam is more. वैसे भी अगर आप देखोगे verbal ability में at a low score you can get a higher percentile. That does not happen with the other two sections. Just have a look at this. If I talk about LRDI, so this 38, 95 percentile is at approximately 12 questions. 38, that is 95 percentile, is approximately 12 questions. और यहाँ पे this was approximately 11 questions. In 2018, it was very close to 9 questions. और यहाँ पे भी it was very close to 11 questions, right? So as I told you, in LRDI, it would go slightly a bit to the downside. थोड़ा सा पेपर आपका जो है आसान साइड पे, सॉरी आपका पेपर जो थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट साइड पे चला जाता है. Therefore, the number of questions at which you get 95 percentile is lower. अभी हमने वर्बल एबिलिटी में देखा, ये 12 पे आ रहा था, लेकिन वर्बल एबिलिटी में दिस वाज 17. यहाँ जो 11 आ रहा है वर्बल एबिलिटी में, इट वाज 14. सो वर्बल में नॉर्मली द परसेंटाइल इज हायर एट हायर स्कोर्स नॉर्मली. दो वी नेवर नो इस साल क्या होने वाला है, क्या पता इस साल का पेपर सडनली बहुत टफ आ जाए. सो आई कांट से एनीथिंग अबाउट दैट. नेक्स्ट, but if I look at the quantitative aptitude section, it was again very close to 14 questions at which we had this percentile. ये भी 14 के आसपास है. यहां मैं बात कर रहा हूं तो 11 क्वेश्चंस पे आ रहा है, यहां भी 11 क्वेश्चंस पे आ रहा है. एंड दीज वर ऑल सेक्शंस ऑफ 1 आवर ईच. ये ध्यान में रखिएगा, ये मैं 1 आवर के सेक्शंस के बारे में बात कर रहा हूं. सो इन 1 आवर is it not easy to do 11 questions by a person who is assuming that I'm not that good at quant? ठीक है. So even if you are not good at quantitative aptitude, with a little bit of practice, of course you can do 11 or 12 questions, and you can do that practice. You have that much of time. आप किसी ग्राम सचिव तो है नहीं पंचायत की तरह that you are always stuck into the quantum theory. मैंने देखा उसमें वो उसको quantum theory करके बोल रहे थे, but quantitative aptitude is different from that. But anyways, quantitative aptitude can be improved even in these coming days to that level that I can easily score 90 percentile. ठीक है, even 95 percentile is in sight. यार बहुत मुश्किल नहीं है 95 भी स्कोर करना. You can say that कि 1 घंटे में क्या 14 क्वेश्चन नहीं किए जा सकते हैं. They can easily be done. So probably even that can be done. Okay. Now come the most important part, that is I am working. How would I read? When would I read? How should I study? What are the timings? How much time should I devote? So now I'll be talking about that important question, when to study, what to study, how to study. About these things now we'll be talking about. The first thing is, as I told you, that because you are preparing for CAT, there are only 6 months left. I told you कि आप लोगों को इसमें थोड़ा सा एक्स्ट्रा मेहनत तो मारनी पड़ेगी. All of you will have to do that. So in these coming 6 months, probably this is your job कि आपको मेहनत मारनी है इसमें. Okay. Now, So at least every day you have to spend 1.5 to 2 hours. First of all, this is everyone has to do, however difficult your job is. You are in a 9-hour work schedule, but still I'm sure that you can just get up a little bit early and you can spend 2 hours in the morning at your studies. But if you are not a morning person, you can do this, that after coming back from the job, after taking a rest of some 30-45 minutes or 1 hour, then you can go back to the studies and spend around 1.5 to 2 hours. But every weekday you have to spend 1.5 to 2 hours. You have to be in sync with your studies. Though for some people this strategy also might work, sir. On 5 days I do not study at all, but on Saturday Sundays I spend 10 to 11 hours every day on my studies. That also can be done. That is completely up to you. I mean, whatever suits you. What I feel would suit most of the people is this thing, that you are always in sync with your studies. You always know that what am I doing. 1.5 to 2 hours मैं रोज लगा रहा हूं अपनी पढ़ाई के ऊपर. I think this can be done by everyone by spending some time early morning or the late evening. That can be done. Or now, if you are not driving to your office, you can do this. ठीक है, कम से कम रीडिंग कॉम्प्रीहेंशन आप जाते जाते कर सकते हैं. You can read some of the articles, जैसे आप हिंदू का एडिटोरियल वगैरह भी पढ़ रहे हैं. Then also you are preparing for it. Second thing, on the weekends, as I told you, that for these 6 months probably you have to forget about the social life, and these weekends you have to spend at least 8 hours every day on your studies. So you can distribute this time among the 3 sections for 2.5 3 hours for each and every section, or you can give more time to the sections in which you feel you are weak and lesser time in the sections in which you are strong. Normally we do the exact opposite of it. जो हमें अच्छा लगता है वहां ज्यादा टाइम स्पेंड करते हैं. It should be the other way around, isn't it? जहां मैं अच्छा नहीं हूं, I should be spending more time over there rather than spending time where I am already good. Also, use your holidays and read whenever you can. Use your holidays का मतलब ये है, there would be some leaves available with you at the end of the month, so you can always take a sabbatical. If you do not have much time currently, ज़्यादा time office से नहीं मिलता, so you can always save your leaves for the last 1 month and you can take a sabbatical of 30 days. sabbatical नहीं मिल रही है तो कम से कम 10-15 दिन की लीव्स तो आप ले ही सकते हैं. Or in the meantime, whenever you get an opportunity to take leaves or you are getting some holidays, like कभी रक्षाबंधन, कुछ ऐसी भी होती हैं जिसपे of course you can take out time for your studies. दिवाली में तो आप ये नहीं कर पाएंगे of course, but something like Dashera is there, Janmashtami is there, Budh Purnima is there, Good Friday is there, Christmas Day is there. So many of these festivals are there which we generally do not celebrate at a very grand level. And on those festivals probably you can use them to prepare for these things. So you can use your holidays, right? Of course that is a religious matter. Some people might say no, we spend more time on Christmas Day. So of course I hope you understand my point, right? For some people Diwali would be more important. For some people Budh Purnima might be more important. For some people Christmas Day might be more important. But that's I hope my point is clear to you. What am I saying? So read whenever you can. Now this is one part that each one of you can do always. So if you are going to the office, just read something, right? And try to read some areas from which generally CAT asks you questions. You can read some novels. You can read some novels related to history. You can read some articles from these different newspapers like Indian Express or Hindu. You can read some business articles or business reviews which are published by different institutes. So just read whenever you get time. So if you are sitting in a metro, you can read an article of let's say 30-35 minutes. Or if you are going in a bus, in your company bus, or you are in any cab or something, you can spend that time. You get some lunch time of 30-35 minutes, please. So and that time also you can read. Or of course sometimes it is not always that if there is 8 hours of job, so all 8 hours or all 9 hours we have to keep working. Sometimes we get a time in between. In that time you can read. So reading is something that can be done. For example, when I talk about logical reasoning, I cannot do that for 30 minutes or 35 minutes or 45 minutes. कि time मिला और करना शुरू कर दिया. That is not generally done in LRDI. Same is not happen with quantitative aptitude, that I have to study a concept. I can't just take out 30 minutes and read a concept. कई बार वो नहीं हो पाता. You have to study a concept. You have to do some questions on it. Only then you can understand that concept well. But reading is something you can do even if you get 15 minutes. So keep that book with you and you can read it. I can show it to you. I have kept my book over here. So this is a book. So I have read this much only. But what do I do with this book? Whenever I get time, I read just 2 pages, 3 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages. कभी कभी ज्यादा टाइम मिलता है तो I read 20 pages at a stretch. So I am not an avid reader, right? I've just started reading, but now I keep that with me. Whenever at that time in between, I start reading it. 2 पेज मिल जाए 2 पढ़ लेता हूँ, 3 मिल जाए 3 पढ़ लेता हूँ, and that was now I see that I have read somewhere around 250-300 pages of it. Though I am not a good reader, let me tell you that. ठीक है, मैं पहली बार या दूसरी बार कोई अच्छी बुक पढ़ रहा हूँ. अदरवाइज छोटे छोटे नॉवेल्स मैंने शुरुआत की, 5 पॉइंट समवन पढ़ लिया, या फिर नाइट एट अ कॉल सेंटर पढ़ लिया. ये सब आपने सुनी होंगी, हु मूव्ड माय चीज, रिच डैड पुअर डैड, और ये एल्केमिस्ट, ये सारी उस तरह की बुक्स है ना, जाहिर वगैरह, जो बिल्कुल बिगिनर्स पढ़ते हैं. सो आई वाज दैट काइंड ऑफ अ पर्सन. रिसेंटली आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग इट एंड आई हैव अडॉप्टेड इट. जब भी टाइम मिलता है थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ लेता हूँ. आई थिंक दिस इज समथिंग दैट ऑल ऑफ यू कैन डू अलोंग विद योर जॉब. Okay. Now, when I talk about verbal ability, I have told you that it is all about reading. So, just keep this thing in your mind. I think you can have this, that, okay, I would be spending at least 8 hours on verbal ability every week. That 8 hours would include that reading time as well. जब आप read कर रहे होते हैं. So, in the morning you are reading something, in the evening you are reading something, because we all know CAT verbal ability is purely about reading. ना तो ग्रामर बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं आपसे, ना वोकैबुलरी बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं आपसे, और कुछ नहीं आता, सब कुछ रीडिंग बेस्ड है. बट यस, व्हाई एम आई आस्किंग यू टू रीड वीए एज वेल? बिकॉज वीए वुड बी नीडेड फॉर द अदर एग्जाम्स अपार्ट फ्रॉम कैट. मोर ओवर, द रीडिंग हैज अ बेसिक ऑफ वर्बल एबिलिटी, द ग्रामर, वोकैबुलरी, दीज आर इंपॉर्टेंट टू हैव अ गुड रीडिंग. If I don't know the meaning of word, of course I would be stuck somewhere. If I don't have a good grammar, I would not be able to comprehend those statements well. So of course this is needed. But yes, what do you do in verbal ability? I would say start with the basics of grammar, start with the basics of vocabulary, then look at the other types and practice it at the end. Similarly for reading, start with the reading. After that, move on to the concepts of it. So reading में भी क्या concepts होते हैं? Yes, there are concepts. Questions like, what is the tone of the author? How would I understand that? Of course, someone would be able to tell me about it. This is the concept through which we decide what is the tone of the author. How do we take out the inferences? How do we find out the summary of the passages, right? So all these things, all these concepts that you have to study, and I think you should be spending at least 8 hours a week on this, so that you can make a good strategy for your verbal ability. But I repeat, verbal ability is purely reading. Spend 8 hours a week. You can do this thing that on weekdays, every morning 1 hour is spent on verbal ability. On the weekends, I would give only 3 hours to verbal ability. That can be done. That's completely up to you. Because as I told you that reading can be done in weekdays as well very easily, जो कि थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होगा क्वांट और LRDI में. Next, after verbal ability comes the logical reasoning and DI part. So as you can see on your screen, I have made this balance, and this balance is slightly heavy on LR side, because CAT would be asking you questions which are more based upon LR rather than DI. So in DI, you can just do the basic things, right? You can study the basics of DI. You can do some of the different types of DI that are being asked to you, different kind of charts. हमने tables पढ़ लिए, bar graph पढ़ लिए, line graph पढ़ लिए, वगैरह वगैरह. And for all those charts, and while doing the questions, what is needed is calculation, right? How do we improve our calculation speed? But I would say spend more time on logical reasoning and the different type of logical reasoning sets. जैसे puzzles होती हैं, Venn diagram, games and tournaments, matrix based questions, arrangement based questions, AR based DI जो होता है, या DI based AR जो होता है. So ऐसे बहुत सारे different types आपको देखेंगे logical reasoning में. But yes, this is an area which needs the time in a bulk, I would say. You can't do LRDI for 1 hour or 1.5 hours. So whenever you sit to do LRDI, sit for at least 2 hours. I think this is something that you can keep for the weekends. कि चलो ठीक है, weekdays में I'll spend more time on my reading, right? So morning में read कर लिया, शाम को थोड़ा concept पढ़ लिया RC का, इस तरह से किया जा सकता है. But when I talk about logical reasoning now, LR and DI, I can spend all the time on LRDI in my weekends. That can be done. I hope you all would agree with me on that. कि LRDI पे मैं एक काम कर सकता हूँ, I would spend 4 hours on Saturday and 4 hours on Sunday. This is an area which generally most of the students find a bit difficult. So you can take an edge over the other people if you could be good at LRDI. So spend time on LRDI primarily on your weekends. that will help you a lot in my opinion. Okay, and if you are getting my point, if I make sense to all of you, please do press the like button as well, and do tell me or ask me the questions in the comment box. Whenever you have anything, I would be answering those later on. Then comes the third part, that is strategy for quantitative ability. So now if you look at your screen, what have I done? I have kept arithmetic at the top, followed by algebra, then geometry, then numbers, and then modern maths. And these circles are decreasing their sizes because this is how they are represented in quantitative ability section of CAT as well. CAT में अगर आप देख रहे हो, most of the questions are from arithmetic. The second largest number is from algebra. Then we have geometry, then we have number system, and then we have modern maths. तो इसी ऑर्डर में तो आते हैं. So इसी ऑर्डर में मेरे ख्याल से हम लोगों को टाइम स्पेंड करना चाहिए. So here again I would say spend at least 8 hours a week. कम से कम 8 hours आपको लगाने चाहिए, right? You can spend 2 hours on quantitative ability, 1.5 hours on quantitative ability. So you can do it in the weekdays along with the weekends as well. Weekends can be kept for practicing and weekdays can be kept for doing the concepts only. Concepts along with 3-4 questions. तो ऐसा कर लिया हम लोगों ने. जैसे अर्थमेटिक पिक करा है, someone was asking what should be the strategy, कैसे पढ़ना चाहिए. मेरे ख्याल से तरीका ये है, start with arithmetic right now. If I am assuming that you are currently at 0, अभी से आप शुरू कर रहे हैं पढ़ना. So start with arithmetic, pick up the first topic, percentages, read the concept of percentages in the weekdays. And because you would be needing a little bit more work from your side, I would suggest कि percentages के साथ साथ try to do at least profit loss and discount or simple interest as well in the weekdays. Weekdays में उसका concept पढ़ा और weekends पे उसके questions को practice किया. Then in the next week में आप क्या पढ़ेंगे? You would be studying, let us say, ratio, proportion and averages in the weekdays, और weekends पे फिर उसको practice किया. So that way probably you can make a strategy. Where from to study? You can study from NCERT books. If you have joined any kind of institute, of course you can do it from there. Otherwise NCERT is also a good teacher. But the problem is NCERT does not have the kind of questions that are asked to you in the actual exam. Plus those approaches would not be given which are required from CAT's perspective. Otherwise, to clear the concepts, NCERT is the best that can be used. Okay? But yes, what strategy suits you, that is completely up to you. आप किस तरीके से पढ़ना चाहते हैं, कौन सी चीज पहले करना चाहते हैं, कौन सी बाद में करना चाहते हैं. But in quantitative ability, I would always say whatever your strategy is, arithmetic तो आपको करना ही करना है अच्छे से. You have 6 months. 6 months का मतलब है approximately 24 weeks, 25 weeks. So in every week, you can make a plan and try to make a plan like this, that okay, in the first 5-6 weeks, I would be able to complete my arithmetic. Next 4-5-6 weeks, I should be able to complete my algebra. And in the next 5-6 weeks, I have to complete geometry, numbers and modern maths all. In the last 10 weeks or so, I should be spending more time on mocks and practice and everything. वो time मेरा सारा का सारा वहाँ जाना चाहिए. Concepts are to be done like this. So I would say spend 8 hours at least on quant, 8 hours on LRDI, 8 hours on VARC. But this is a general approach that I'm telling you, but it has to be customized as per your needs as well. If you feel that you are strong enough in one particular section, so spend lesser time on that and increase the time in the other 2 sections. Probably that would be a better strategy for you. Okay? So in the last 2 months, as I said, कि last 9-10 weeks जो है आपके सिर्फ और सिर्फ 2 चीजों के होने चाहिए. First, practice, practice and practice. CAT is all about practice, and focus on the mocks analysis. Write a lot many mocks, analyze them properly, spend a lot of time on the analysis. That is very important. ये कॉन्सेप्ट जो आप करते हैं, प्रैक्टिस जो आप करते हैं, सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है वो चीज, बिकॉज दैट इज द फाइनल थिंग, द फाइनल आउटकम, राइट. अल्टीमेटली करना क्या है? घर बैठ के मैं देख सकता हूँ ऑन टीवी, दिस इज हाउ क्रिकेट इज प्लेड, आई सी पीपल प्लेइंग, आई कैन लर्न द टेक्निक्स फ्रॉम द पीपल, दे आर टेलिंग यू, right, how the ball is swing, or how the ball is spin, or how do you hit a ball, how do you hit a bouncer, how do you hit a full toss. ये सारी चीजें ठीक है, I have read them many times, I have studied them, मुझे बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आ गया. but unless and until I play it on the ground, I would not be able to understand. वो सब जीरो हो जाता है. So mocks are like the final thing, the actual thing where you apply all your knowledge. So in the last 2 months, I would say you should not be focusing on anything apart from doing mocks, the analysis of mocks, and a lot of practice which is needed in the last 2 months from each and everyone. Okay? So that was all from my side, guys. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you may ask, and please press the like button if you have understood the whatever we have discussed today. Okay, I'm sure this session has been helpful for you, so you can probably be able to strategize your preparation now well. If not, you can always ask me questions in the comment box of this video. So just write there. I would be happy to help you. But I'm sure that this will at least give you a direction that okay, this is what I have to read, this is how I have to bifurcate my time into different kind of things. What do I have to read, what I don't have to read? These are all the things. Though I would be talking about all these things in detail as well, कि कौन सा टॉपिक ज्यादा पढ़ना चाहिए, कौन सा टॉपिक कम. We are taking a session on that on 5th of June at 11 a.m. on BYJU'S exam prep app, right? 5th of June at 11 a.m. on BYJU'S exam prep app. So from there also you can find all these things. So उस दिन भी हम लोग एक session करेंगे of approximately 1 hour. So just join me on that day and we'll be talking about all these things in detail. So that is all from my side, guys. So for CAT 2022, if any one of you is looking for registration, you can come to BYJU'S exam prep app and you will see all the things which are written on the screen. Do press the like button please and comment on the video whatever your questions are. Subscribe to BYJU'S exam prep channel. We are already available on all these media platforms. And that is all from my side, guys. So I see a question from someone. Sujit is asking something. Sir, I'm giving MA at CET 2022 and CAT 2022. How can I prepare for this exam? Sujit, they are completely different exams. Though of course you can say दोनों में quant आता है, दोनों में LR, दोनों में DI, but one is very low at difficulty level, the other is pretty high. So I would say first focus upon Maharashtra CET, which is going to be there in June, and after that you have to prepare for CAT. अगर आप दोनों को लेके चलोगे तो probably you might miss your one of the exams. So though you might say कि उसके बाद टाइम आपके पास बहुत कम बचेगा, but in such a case ना तो आप महाराष्ट्र CET पे ध्यान दे पाओगे, ना ही CAT पे ध्यान दे पाओगे. बेटर इज जो सामने आने वाला है उस पर मेहनत कीजिए और उसके बाद फिर कैट के बारे में करते रहिएगा. आई थिंक दैट शुड बी अ गुड अप्रोच. Okay everyone, that's all from my side. So have a good day now. We'll meet soon in the next class, that is on 5th of June. Till then, bye bye and take care all of you. Good day.